What up, everybody? Surprise! I mean, kind of, you know. I mean, is it really... It's not really that big of a... It's just sort of a, yeah. Wasn't sure if we were going to have a show, but we are. We're having a show. Let me get over to the chat. What's up? Good to see ya. Howdy, howdy. No Catalina, or did you take your heater? I'm not leaving until a little later. So my girlfriend was like, "Why don't you do a show?" And I was like, "All right, that's a fair assessment." So we're doing a show. She was like, "You should do a show." So we're just kind of getting ready, that sort of thing. But I finished all my packing, so I'm doing a show. I agree. She is pretty awesome. And guys, how can we not do a show on the National Day of Prayer? Which, of course, is going to be one of our questions. Where am I going? I am going to Catalina. So, it's one of those things. There will be no show tomorrow. That's a for sure. No show tomorrow. We will be back on Tuesday. But we're going to have a weird week next week, too, because I'm going on tour with Graham Elwood next week, which I guess I'll announce that now. May 9th, we're going to be in Tempe, Arizona at the Tempe Improv. May 10th, we're going to be in Lake Havasu, Arizona at Pennington's Pub. May 11th, we're going to be at the Center for Science and Wonder in Las Vegas, baby. And May 12th, we're going to be at the Comedy Palace in San Diego, California. There's a Facebook page called the Progressive Comedy Tour with Graham Elwood and Ron Placone. You can get tickets there. Or if you want to go to those shows for free, you can become a patron. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. All my patrons get free admissions to my shows. So, just saying, patreon.com/Ron Placone. Pay at whatever level you're comfortable with. And you can go to those shows for free if you're in Tempe or Lake Havasu or Vegas or San Diego. All right, guys, it's way past time, so let's do this. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? Getting our news on today. Holy shit. Wow, I did not realize how out of tune the guitar was. I was anticipating a vacation. I was anticipating a vacation. Wow. All right, yeah, that guitar is way out of tune. Way out of tune. All right. So we won't do a theme song on the way out because I'm not going to sit here and tune a guitar for you guys. Let's see here. So let's start with a question. Lake Havasu, is that the spot where... I have no idea. I have no idea. It's in Arizona. I've never been. But I hear it's awesome. And we're distorting slightly. Is that still going on? We shouldn't be. Are we better now? Let's see. The van is from the FBI where they accuse you of being anti-patriotic. Yeah, that's way. Are we sounding better? Are we good? I think I just had the volume up a little hot. Everything's cool? We're good? All right, good. Tune your guitar 2020. I'm going to tune it way before then, David, but But all right, let's move on. Let's see what's going on today. So my big question is, it's National Day of Prayer, you guys. That's trending on Twitter. And you know, I'll say what I always say. And this isn't my quote. Someone else said it first. I forget who said it first. But the hands that do are better than the lips that pray. I've always said that. I'll always say that because it's the truth. National Day of Prayer, that's something that we do here in the United States because we apparently have the separation of church and state, except not really. And this is a thing where there's a prayer at the White House, and everybody's supposed to honor the National Day of Prayer. I forget how old I was when I realized. I'm pretty sure at about 14 or 15, probably younger than that, probably about 13, I realized how dumb prayer was. Like, I was like, what is the point? And I get how some people like it's sort of a meditative thing. I understand that. I'm not trying to bash anybody that has faith in their life. That's totally your right to believe what you want. No judgment here. But for me personally, just speaking for my own self, eventually I found it beyond absurd that, especially since I went to Catholic school, and it eventually just got a little ridiculous to me that, oh, I'm supposed to learn geometry in 2 minutes, but first I need to talk to an invisible man that lives in the clouds. First I need to do that. I'm going to learn physics, but first I'm gonna pray to a guy that could make a bush burn and had talking snakes on Earth. First I got to do that, then I got to learn science. First, I gotta talk to an invisible man in the sky. Then I gotta learn religion. Doesn't that seem counterproductive? We had religion class, where religion class was basically like, hey, this shit's even more ridiculous than you thought. That's what religion class was. Because by the time you reach like an age where you were thinking critically, like 9th grade maybe, religion class would just be everybody in the class arguing with the teacher. In my high school, that's all it was. It was everybody in the class arguing with the teacher. Because the teacher would be like, hey, here's this dogma, ridiculous nonsense that you have to spew back at me to get an A. And this is the truth. And we'd be like, what sane person would consider this the truth? Well, you have to or you fail. That was just... So... And, you know, I'm really not trying to... Again, this is me. Like, this is me. I'm talking for myself. So I guess my question for the day is... And my answer is a resounding yes, hell yes, 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 holy shit, yes. But my answer is I would love to get Greg Graffin on. I think that might be easier said than done. I've emailed the guy before. I've never heard back, so I'm a little unsure. But so, and some of you guys that I guess had similar experiences to me in Catholic school or some kind of Christian school said you had similar experiences. So my question today: should we end the National Day of Prayer? Isn't that something that shouldn't happen? Shouldn't that not be a thing? Why do we have that? Why? I mean, I know why we have it. It's because we don't really have a separation of church and state. It's because the right still needs the religious right to really get anything done. Even though that group is arguably dwindling, they're still out there. And Republicans can't win without them. The corporatocracy can't win without them. And... you know, they really got them in their pocket. But again, we're talking in a should society. This is saying what we should do, not what they're going to do. They're not going to end the National Day of Prayer. But my question is, should they? My answer is a resounding yes. And you know, what is your guys' answer? Would like it if it was a day of meditation and or prayer. My imaginary friend killed more people. Thank yours in his book. Okay. Nah, the Bible Belt will bitch about it. It's basically still a nothing day to me. So it's kind of not worth the battle is what you're saying. I understand that. But I really think... I don't know. I really think that we should get rid of it. We probably won't for a while, but we should. We're supposed to have a secular government. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and DC points out, do you think anyone is doing Muslim prayers at breakfast? No, they're definitely not. They're for sure not. Did God demand this day of prayer? That's, you know what the funny part is? Jesus himself was actually against public prayer. There is a quote in the Bible, Jesus was not pro-public prayer. He was actually against it. According to the Bible, which I know you guys are thinking, Ron, we talked about fiction last week. We got to do a different question, but just for the record, it's you can find hypocrisies in Christians' own dogma, is all I'm saying. Aren't you supposed to pray every day or like every Sunday? I guess. I mean, I think so. I don't know. And again, meditation's a great thing. I personally, I enjoy chanting for reflection. I like to chant the old SGI Buddhist mantra, the Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I like to do it. It's therapeutic. It helps me think. It helps me unwind. It clears my head. James says he prays to Joe Pesci. I pray to Joe Pesci. Half the time I get what I want. Half the time I don't. That's a George Carlin bit. Shout out to a brilliant George Carlin bit. God is needy. Maybe not Jesus, but that Yahweh has a bigger head. I kind of thought about how, yeah, when you really think about what at least Christians believe, and it's other religions too. I'm not trying to single them out. That's just what I happen to know the most about because I was raised Catholic, so I know, I know the most holes in that one because that was what I was raised with. But I think all religions, have their share of that, which is ridiculous. The idea that there's a supreme being that loves us, right, and has this eternal happiness, sunshine place for us, but every 3 people that this supreme being puts on the planet, 2 of them starve to death, 2 of them don't have enough food to eat, and they starve to death. And why does the supreme being do that? Well, to test your faith. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a supreme being. That sounds like somebody with serious self-esteem issues. Like serious self-esteem issues. And that's not somebody I want to pray to or rely on. That doesn't make sense. It's almost like maybe we don't know why we're here and we're trying to figure it out. But the idea of some ever-knowing, ever-loving God sounds pretty far-fetched and bogus to me. Like, yeah, 2 of you are going to starve to death because I'm testing the one of you that can think critically because you have enough food to eat. And if you don't believe this shit, it's almost like maybe a bunch of rich people made that shit up so they could control poor people. It's almost like maybe they were like, hey, I know it sucks that you're poor, but yours is the kingdom of heaven. God's testing you now. Because us. Dude, we're rich. We're not going to be able to get through heaven through the eye of the needle. We got to start doing sit-ups now because we ain't going to heaven. But you, front row seat. So don't rise up and kill us and take our shit. Because heaven, all yours. It's almost like before they had bombs. That was an easier way to control the masses as opposed to just slaughtering them. I don't know. Religion has become more and more based on fear. Bob, when was it not based on fear? Honest question. Like, I mean, that's a good... It has increased, I agree with you. But when was it not based on fear? I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. Did God invent maggots? Depends on who you ask. I actually thought that was Susan Sarandon's fault, but I could be wrong. I thought she invented those. By the way, so I guess our overall answer is yes, we should end it, or just don't bother. It's not a battle worth having. Which I understand both perspectives. I really do. But I think, you know what? We live in a secular society. It's time to actually do it. Or we're supposed to have a secular government and a secular society. Let's actually frickin' do it. That's what I say. All right. So everybody's outraged about Kanye West, and I just have this to say about it. Kanye West has said some really outrageous stuff. He said some very offensive stuff. And it sounds absolutely ridiculous. And first, I thought, I can't believe he's saying this stuff. Then I listened to his newest single. And I thought, I can't believe he's not saying more crazy stuff. Have you guys heard Kanye West's new single? For those that haven't, here's what it is. Kanye West's new single. It is this song that sounds like a 60s doo-wop song for like the first 2 minutes. And then he comes in, about 2 minutes into the song, Kanye comes in, and he just says the word poop over and over again. That's what he does. That is the song. I'm not kidding. That is the song. Somebody should have told Kanye when somebody refers to scat singing, that's not what they mean. But that is the song. And here's the thing. I know a lot of you guys on the stream are musicians. I have a lot of friends that are musicians. I dabble in music as a hobby myself. Like, recording music is a very involved process. It's very involved. So there's no way any music producer on earth heard that song and was like, oh, this is a finished product. They were probably all like, holy, what are we, why, what, we've won Grammys and we're doing this, we've won Grammys, we're doing this. You know what I mean? Like nobody. I build guitars for a living. Will you build me one? I would love it if you built me one. How much would that cost? I will add it as a goal on Patreon if you're willing to build me a guitar. Will you, Can it say howdy howdy on it? On the bridge. That would be pretty cool. So yeah, I think my point is yeah, Kanye's song, it sounds like, you know when parents record their children like saying words for the first time? That's what this song sounds like. Except it's not a child, it's a very confused 40-year-old man. And that's what Kanye West is. He is a very, very, very confused 40-year-old man. All right, let's move on to something else. We covered Kanye. Joe sent the Clinton thing. I already tweeted about this, but we'll cover it real quick. So Hillary Clinton said that being a capitalist probably hurt her. This is from The Hill. So this was initially covered in the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast put out an article about this. I want to try to find the video here. All right, I retweeted that, but I'm going to go to the video, see if I can get it. All right, here we go. So you guys, listen to this. Here it goes. Oh, let me turn up the volume for a hot minute. You know what? I gotta mute it over on the YouTubes so it doesn't bleed. And turn up the volume.
You may be the only
Can you guys hear?
candidate since World War II that actually had to stand up and say, I am a capitalist. And you did. Did it hurt you?
Probably. I mean, you know, it's hard. It's hard to know, but I mean, if you're in the Iowa caucuses and 41% of Democrats are socialists or self-described socialists, and I'm asked, "Are you a capitalist?" and I say yes, but with appropriate regulation and appropriate accountability, you know, that probably gets lost in the, oh my gosh, she's a capitalist.
I mean,
hilarious. That was, wow, hilarious. Yeah, mocking everyone. Here's the best part. This article was initially put out by the Daily Beast. Here, I'll retweet the Daily Beast one real quick for you guys right now. And the Daily Beast is pretty much overseen by Chelsea Clinton. She's on the board of the organization that owns the Daily Beast. So even from a media outlet that her own daughter pretty much runs, Hillary Clinton still comes off as arrogant and off-putting. Still, it's her daughter's outlet. Her daughter's outlet. And she still comes off as arrogant enough. Well, they describe themselves as socialists, so I just hear, I'm a capitalist. This is the closest she's ever come to actually taking accountability, by the way. She still blamed the people. She still blamed Democrats and socialists, even though I don't know where she's getting that 41% of Democrats describe themselves as socialists. I would say 41% of socialists are trying to leave the Democrats. The rest already have. I could be wrong. But even, yeah, and tell me again how it's everyone else's fault. Even in her daughter's own media outlet. And that Daily Beast article was trying to make her look good. The headline, they were trying to make her look good. It backfired. You know why it backfired? Because it has footage of her speaking. That's how unlikable she is. And I'm not even trying to, like, it's unreal. Oh, she's referring to a specific primary? All right, well, I guess. She leads the league in condescending. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. All right. This is pretty much all I have to say about that. All right, so let's... So Gloomy Goblin shares this. This is from her community college health center. So let's take a look at this. I'll give this a Get Your News On With Ron retweet. Oh, this is hard to see for me. Why do people use marijuana? Is marijuana addictive? Why do people use marijuana? Well, it has a number of benefits, including medical and recreational. Is marijuana addictive? According to all the science we have, no. According to all the science we have, no. No proof of that. None whatsoever. More research needs, not really. I mean, how many tests do you need? No. There's absolutely no evidence of that. None. But I guess this health center says otherwise. I can't really see the fine print here. What does marijuana do to the body? And then it says a bunch of stuff. Yeah, this screenshot's pretty small. I can't read it. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say it unnecessarily. It unnecessarily demonizes pot. That's what I'm going to go out on a limb and say. Gloomy Goblin, can you weigh in here? Because it's a little small. I can't read it. I don't want to like lean in super hardcore into the camera and give you guys like a close up of my nostrils. It says marijuana makes people very hungry. Well, all right. Well, let's be fair here. That's, depending on the strain, that does happen. I mean, I've definitely had some ridiculous munchies. I can't zoom in on the screenshot. It's not that kind of screenshot. So, I mean, I've definitely had some pot that has given me the munchies big time. So, not all. It depends on the strand. It depends on, and part of it depends on me, you know. So, but come on now, that has happened. Side effects: hungry, happy, sleepy. Yeah, I don't know. I can't zoom in on it. It only affects habit. There's no withdrawal when it's gone. Have Jimmy Dore on your show. Yeah, I plan on it. He's going to do it. It's just a matter of when. He's a busy dude, you know. But I see him pretty often, so I'll remind him. Weed is cool. I agree. It is cool. It's cool, everybody. But if you don't do it, that's cool, too. You got the right to be you. I believe that you can be yourself. And I don't need some religious narrative to make me feel that way. I feel that way because I'm just trying to be a cool human being. Huh? Right? Yeah. Huh? Okay. All right. Let's move on. Because you guys sent a lot of stuff, and we don't have a lot of time. Active duty military. Oh, wait. I don't want to... This article's kind of... I don't know if I should like it. It might send a misleading thing for anybody. Although I think people understand when we give a Get Your News On With Ron hashtag, it's like what we're talking about on the stream. I think a lot of people are catching on to that. But this is from The Broken Carpenter. And Broken Carpenter, you've tweeted stuff before, and I've said this before. I want you to heal. I want you to be a fully healed carpenter. What can we do to help? I want you to be a totally astute, fully healed carpenter. Because carpenters are important. We need them. And if you're a broken one, I'd imagine that impedes your ability to be the most efficient carpenter and best carpenter you're capable of being. So whatever we can do to unbreak you, let us know. You know, if there's anything we can do to help. And I don't know what you mean by broken. I don't know if it's broken in the physical sense, like you got a broken arm. I don't know if it's broken in the emotional sense. Maybe you had your heart broken. In which case, all I can say, Broken Carpenter, is we've all been there. We've all been there. I have had my heart ripped out of my chest and stamped on and kicked to the curb. And you know what? I got back up. And we all have. I mean, I'm not unique. We've all been there. And the best thing you can do is talk to somebody that's been through it, is to look at your friends. And you know what? I'll tell a quick story to tie this into what we were talking about before. So I mentioned I was raised Catholic. I was, and my family still practices. They're great people. We just don't agree on everything. And so when I was going through a very difficult time in my life, I lost my condo. My engagement ended. I was engaged. It ended. It was one of the rougher things I've ever been through in my life, and was very, very hard on me. And I didn't know what to do, and I was really depressed. I was living in my car, kind of going from gig to gig. I was just totally, really, I had shoulder-length hair. I was a wreck. And anyway, I bring this up to connect it to Day of Prayer because my dad was like, look, if you want to talk to our pastor, he might be able to help. And I was like, really, Dad? You want me to talk to a dude who's never had a girlfriend before or a relationship and tell him about my relationship ills? If I want to talk to anybody, I want to talk to my buddy Johnny. He's been married and divorced 4 times. I want to talk to him about how to get back into the swing of things. And I did talk to him. He said, don't get hammered until you're in a better place emotionally. And I didn't follow his advice. I should have, but I didn't. But his advice was very good, and I doubt the Syracuse Funny Bone will ever welcome me back. Anyway. Ron left his heart in the condo and put his life in the front seat of the car. Nah, I'm doing good now. I appreciate you guys, though. Broken Carpenter. Think Broken Carpenter, but whole being in the physical sense. Think a hammer with a broken handle. I'm still whole enough to beat down the capitalist. I like it. I like it, Broken Carpenter. Well, in that case, since you put it in those terms, stay broken, but stay broken your way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Wouldn't he be a priest? He was the pastor. He was like the head dude. Like, he was their pastor. Like, that was his thing. I saw the picture you posted last Thursday. Oh, no, that was a picture of me from college. That was me in college with one of my college buddies. Yeah, I posted a picture. They were doing an old headshot day, so I posted a picture of me in college and one of my college buddies. at like 3 in the morning. Craig, hey Ron, does Lucy like the Stray Cats? If you mean the band, no. She's not like, she likes some kind of punk Billy. Like, she likes the Cramps. But Stray Cats, and especially Brian Setzer Solo, just doesn't have enough edge for her. It doesn't do it for her. But she likes the Cramps. She likes Question Mark. And she loves Black Flag. That's one of her favorite bands. You want somebody that's been nagging me to get Henry Rollins on the show. Lucy, every day, just meow. And I know that's what she wants. Some people, they're like, I think she wants Fed Ron. I'm like, no, she wants Henry Rollins on the show. Well, why did she stop after you fed her? I'm like, because she's tired. But really, she gets sad then. She's like, oh, another show. She's sitting on the couch right now. She's like, another show, no Henry Rollins. Now, if you're asking, does she like Stray Cats in general? Now, the answer is still no. It's kind of funny. Some of the cats in this apartment complex that I live in now, they meow because they know Lucy's here. And she doesn't care. Like, she doesn't she kind of like acknowledges them a little bit and then just goes back to whatever she's doing. Like, she's like, I don't know what to tell you, but I got my stuff figured out, and whatever your problem is, just go find a human to help you. Go find a human to help you. James, Keith Morris, you know what? I bet Keith Morris might be an easier grab than Henry would be. I should invite him on this show. Would you guys dig that if he did the show? That would be pretty cool, huh? I like Reverend Horton Heat, Mark. I like that. So she doesn't like the Stray Cats. She doesn't like cats. And I actually like some Stray Cats. Now, Brian Setzer Solo, I appreciate the musicianship. But Brian Setzer Solo does nothing for me. He's a great musician. I'm not going to say he's not, but I found it very boring. The Stray Cats, I like some of their stuff. But DC, as you point out, definitely a little cheesy. And you guys are, yeah, totally. Bring up music. Ron gets sidetracked. And honestly, thank you. I appreciate it. What about Curiosity Killed the Cat? Or is that a band? I'm not familiar with that if that's a band. Neither is Lucy. She's not hip to it either. Soul Sides, Bad Brain, Marginal Man, GI. Do you mean GG or do you mean G? Oh, you mean Government Issue. Soul Side I'm not super familiar with. Bad Brains I love. Marginal Man I'm not super familiar with. Government Issue, I didn't dislike them, but they weren't on my list of favorites. I would take State of Alert or the original Teen Idols or Rites of Spring or the Germs over the Feelies. I dig a lot, yeah. I would take any of them over Government Issue. I just thought Operation Ivy, of course, Daniel. Operation Ivy, that album is just essential listening. And I actually went, you know what? The last punk show that I went to by myself is, and we got to get back to news here in a second. And we're going to do the Gibson story because I feel like that's a good transition. And Scream, I dig. I have a Scream LP on vinyl. I went to an Op Ivy cover band show by myself because there was just no one else around to go with me, and I wanted to catch some. It was at the Punk Bar down the street from me. And I went, and they did an amazing job. They just played that album cover to cover, no gimmicks. They just opened up with, I know, things are getting tougher. It was freaking great. So it was awesome. And then somebody got too hammered in the pit, and they threw up like right next to me. Like I was standing right here. Someone just threw up right there. And I was just like, I'm too old for this. And then I was like, you know what? You're not too old for it. Shut up and enjoy the music. And that's what I did. I didn't even leave because I was having a good old time. And, guys, here's something cool. So, I like, and I know some of you aren't into music, and I apologize, but some of you are. What can I say? And if you're not, I mean, you know, maybe we're giving you some stuff to check out, right? I mean, maybe you're like, well, what is this? They like all this punk rock. We should check this out. Daniel Johnston, to my knowledge, lives in Austin, I think. I think he lives in Austin again with his parents. I'm pretty sure. So he doesn't live near me. I live in LA. Dead Milkman, I love. You know who I really should get is frickin' what's the... Wow, I'm drawing a blank now to the guy's name. He's, wow. Oh, man, I'm having a total brain fart right now. Now I gotta Google it because it's gonna bother me the rest of the stream. We won't be able to do... No, well, Jell-O's on the list, too. Jell-O is on the list, too. I'd love to get Jello Biafra. And I can't believe I'm gonna Mike Watt! Jeesh. Sorry about that. Mike Watt! Mike Watt. I really gotta get Mike Watt on the show. That'd be interesting. Laura Jane Grace would be amazing. Have you ever heard of Green Day? Green Day. I've not... Send me some stuff. I'm not familiar with that. Never heard of them. You know what? I'm not a fan of Green Day's more recent stuff. And when I met Trey Cool, he was a total douchebag. So, yeah. Didn't like him. Don't like what they're all about. I don't like the fact that they sing about politics whenever there's a Republican bad guy in office. Because they need... Like, they don't understand... I guess it's easy to appeal to 12-year-olds when you have the political awareness of one. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to be... I'm just being real. I thought American Idiot was okay for what it was. And I love their early stuff. Everything Dookie and before. You met them and they were... Okay, so Billy Joe was a douchebag to one of my friends. Like a total douchebag. Alright, so I'll explain. Here's how Billy Joe... We totally... Man, this is going to be the whole show. Billy Joe... Green Day did Warped Tour. Back when Warped Tour was really cool and accessible, and they had the band barbecues where you could literally go to the barbecue and hang out with all the bands. I used to do that when I was a kid. Now, apparently, when you say that to younger people... They're like, oh my God, was that really a thing? And it's like, yes, it was really a thing, and it wasn't that long ago. So I went to the band barbecue. I got to meet Long Beach Dub All-Stars one year. Sublime was already passed at this point. But I got to meet Long Beach Dub All-Stars, and I got to meet Lou Dog right before he died, the Dalmatian. I met Lou Dog right before he died. And Billy Joe does jack guitar riffs. American Idiot was ripped off a Dillinger 4 song. However, to my knowledge, they did give Dillinger 4 some money for that. So, you know, I guess I'll give kudos there, to be fair. But yeah, all their stuff. So, Green Day did Warped Tour a year before, they were way too big for it. At this point, Insomniac had already come out. They were pretty famous. But they did Warped Tour because they wanted to, I guess. So they did Warped Tour, and it was pretty funny because all the bands had a big banner and stuff because a lot of them were trying to get the word out. Green Day knew they didn't have to worry about that, so instead of a big banner, they just had a piece of paper, like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in back of them that just said Green Day on it in Sharpie. And that was kind of funny. I thought that was funny. But, so... Afterwards, there was the band barbecue, and Billy Joe was just hanging out there, and my friend just went up to him super polite. He was just hanging out by himself, just standing there alone. And she goes, Billy, I love you so much. Could we take a picture? And he wouldn't take a picture with her. And it's just like, you know what, dude? If you want to unwind and be by yourself, that's fine. But why are you hanging out at the barbecue where a bunch of fans are, where there's a bunch of kids there, where you would make their fucking summer if you took a picture with them? You'd make their summer. They'd be so thrilled, and you can't... really? You're gonna just dick off? She was, 13 at the time. Like, that's just so lame. Like so lame. What's wrong with you? You know, so now how Trey Cool was a dick to me. And then I have another fun Green Day story. So how Trey Cool was a dick to me. I was kind of dating this girl. We were off and on. We ended up being off and on for a long, long time. We're still good friends to this day. But I guess she was kind of like my first love or whatever. And, not whatever. She was, you know, she was awesome. And she still is a great person. Yeah, I know, guys. A show today was questionable, but we ended up doing it. So, I got to see Green Day on her birthday. And I hung out after. We waited for a long time. Trey Cool finally came out. All I wanted him to do, I didn't want him to sign anything. I just wanted him to wish my girlfriend a happy birthday in her voicemail. Like, I called it, she didn't pick up. And I was like, Trey Cool, will you please wish my girlfriend a happy birthday? It's her birthday, she loves you. He wouldn't do it. He just glared at me and wouldn't say a word. And I was like, you fucking dick, man. Like, really? Like I called her, I pulled it up. And all I want you to do, she's like the biggest Green Day fan I know. All I want you to say, happy birthday. I didn't even ask you to say her name. Just happy birthday. And he wouldn't do it. So anyway, that's how Trey Cool was a total douchebag to me. And this was years ago. This was years ago. But that's how he was a total douchebag to me. And so yeah. There you go. That's my story. Best laid plans. I'm not familiar with them. Green Day is just a phase. I agree. Green Day is just a phase. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Have I had any encounters with Black Flag or Henry Rollins? I have not. Oh, man. More like Trey uncool. Jennifer, that's hilarious. Joe, when you do a clip for this, end it there. End at the Trey uncool part. That's hilarious. That's awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. That's awesome. That made my day. More like Trey uncool. All right. So Justin Sane from Anti-Flag would be a great guest, and I do know Justin. We both grew up in Pittsburgh. So I've hung out with Justin like twice, and I know one of their tech guys went to high school with me, and one of their other road guys, I worked with him at one point. So Justin's a really cool dude, really fun to talk to. I haven't talked to him in years. If he saw me, he would not recognize me, because when we knew each other, I was about 70 pounds heavier than I am now, and I didn't wear glasses. But yeah, Justin would be a great guest. And, yeah. Rage Against the Machine would also be a great guest. Tom Morello would be really cool. Rise Against would be, yeah, I mean, I don't know any of them, but yeah, I enjoy them. Dave Matthews is a really progressive dude. I don't like his music. I appreciate it for what it is. I respect the musicianship, but I gotta be honest with you, the songs just don't do anything for me. But as a guest and as a progressive, I would love to have Dave Matthews. And shout out to Dave Matthews. He did something for Dennis Kucinich, so I respect him immensely for that. I expect him immensely for that. All right. So Greg Graffin, yeah, absolutely. All right, we got to move on to other things because I've gotten to, like, no stories today. Report, active duty military are in notorious neo-Nazi Adam Waffen group. I just retweeted this, but it was a long time ago at this point. Current and former members of the U.S. military are among the ranks of one of America's most extreme and violent white supremacist groups, Adam Waffen. The investigative journalism site said it has identified 3 Adam Waffen members or associates who are currently enlisted in the Army and Navy. These are neo-Nazis organizations in the U.S. They have been linked to 5 killings, including that of a gay University of Pennsylvania students. The report identifies one Marine, Vasilos Pistolis, who bragged that he cracked 3 skulls open at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. Another member, Joshua Beckett, who trained Anamwaffen members in firearms and hand-to-hand combat last fall, served in the Army from 2011 to 2015. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's very depressing. And I would say to be expected. The military, I mean, there's a lot of things I don't like about the military. And I know that we all probably share the same sentiments. The fact that, just the way they try to break you down and then build you up into something they want. Just trying to strip you of your personality. Everybody I know who's ever really been heavily involved with the military, they're not okay anymore. They're not who they were. My cousin did 4 tours in Afghanistan. He is not the same at all. And it cost him his engagement. It cost him, I'd say, a good chunk of his life. It cost him his 20s. His entire 20s was just spent in war zones. And he will occasionally, when you do spend time with him, which I haven't in a couple years, I haven't really seen him, but he will just wander off periodically because of just intense PTSD. Like, he just can't be present in the moment. He'll just be off. Like, sometimes physically, he'll walk away. Other times just mentally, you'll just know he's not there. Daniel, they break you. Yeah, they do. So it's very plausible and believable that somebody with that background would subscribe to something very extreme and hateful and evil, like something like these neo-Nazi groups, which is evil hatred. I would say that people that have been broken down would likely be more susceptible to that. Or maybe they're in it in the first place and they think, hey, here's another situation where I can kill people. And a lot of them might be brown. So good, go me. This is what I want to do. So this doesn't surprise me. They don't properly screen police officers in this country, so I'm sure they screen even less in the military. Because pretty much if you got a pulse, they'll pretty much take you. For the most part. I mean, yes, there is some involved, and it's very physically intense to become a Marine and stuff like that, but I mean, unless you have one of the things on their list. And then the thing is, if you have one of those things on their list, there's no way, they won't take you. You know what I mean? I know a guy that really wanted to serve. I can't relate to why, but he did. He really wanted to serve, and he has one of those. I don't know if it's shin splints or what it is. It's some kind of foot thing, and it totally doesn't really hold him back that much. But it's on that list of things that you cannot serve in a combat situation, or you can't serve pretty much at all if you have it. He had it, so even though he's in fantastic physical shape, even though his whole life wanted to serve, because of that one thing, they couldn't take him. And it's meanwhile, if you're a neo-Nazi, they'll take you. If you're, not in the best physical shape, they'll take you and try to break you down. So it's kind of interesting. Or I guess interesting is one way to put it. So, yeah, that's terrible news and unfortunately not surprising. Broken Carpenter, thank you for sharing that. And remember, be broken, but be broken in your way. We are almost out of time. I'm sorry we didn't cover a lot of news today, but I think you guys brought up an amazing idea, and I think that, maybe this Monday we got to do a music talk day and have a heavy music talk day. Because, I have a podcast about music and politics called 5 Fourth and the Truth. And I don't know what the future is going to be like with it, but because we're both really busy, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to end with, David sent this in, we're going to end with a Gibson story. So let me go ahead and give this a Get Your News On With Ron retweet. And then this will be how we end today. Music Monday, Music Day, down with Gibson, music and documentary movies and books. Music Monday sounds really good, finally. All right, well, yeah, let's do it, guys. Let's do it this Monday, because I'll be back. Here's the deal. So next week I'm going on tour with Graham, so we're going to have a kind of weird schedule next week, too. And we're going to close with the Gibson guitar stories. What types of bands? All kinds of bands. We cover all kinds of bands on that show. But yeah, are you going to monetize? I have been monetized. I was technically, randomly, they demonetized my channel for 2 days. But it was when there was a glitch in the system where it was happening to other people too. I didn't realize that at first. So yeah, I'm doing, I mean, they demonetized me based on the clips. Like, chances are this clip will be demonetized because we talked about war and the military and brainwashing and stuff like that. This clip will be demonetized. I guarantee it. This clip will be demonetized. If we swear, they demonetized. So I'm at the point now where I would say probably about half my clips get demonetized. What's the stance on net neutrality right now? Yeah. So let's cover that as soon as I get back. Because we're almost out of time, and I really got to honor time today because I got to leave for Catalina, you guys. But here's what's going on with net neutrality. They're building mesh networks in New York City. They're literally taking their internet back. And where I live in Pasadena, on Tuesday, when I get back, on Tuesday afternoon, and I'm hopefully going to be live streaming this on YouTube, you guys, there is going to be a municipal meeting. I was able to get municipal internet on the agenda. So, you know what? I'm going to make an announcement. And, Joe, if you could make this announcement a clip, that'd be awesome. Pasadena, and anybody that's been following the story. You guys know January I showed up at a town hall. A bunch of other people showed up with me. We spoke for municipal internet. Coming up on May the 8th, we got it on a municipal agenda, which means in the city I live, Pasadena, California, they're going to be discussing municipal internet and bringing it to residents. I'm going to be attending that meeting. It's open to the public. I'm going to be attending it. Hopefully, I'm going to be streaming it. And depending on the results of that meeting, that will kind of dictate what action is next. Maybe we're going to get it on a ballot for citizens to vote on. Maybe city council is going to vote on the measure and make it available for citizens, in which case we really got to spread the word. Maybe they're going to shoot it down, in which case the next thing I'm going to do, we're going to start trying to build our own mesh networks. Because New York's doing it. We got to follow suit. So that's going on at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday, May 8th. The municipal, and I know if you don't live in Pasadena, you're wondering, well, how does that pertain to me? Look, a lot of people have contacted me saying they want to do something similar in their town. A lot of people have already shown up to their own city halls, and that's awesome. And if there's any way I can help, please, I'll do anything I can for you. Anything I can. Some people have asked for my transcript so they can have a template on, making their own comments. I'm more than happy to send that to you if you think it would help you. And if you don't need it, that's totally fine too. I understand. But yeah. So here's the thing. This is the next step. And I'm asking all of you, whether you live in Pasadena or not, learn from my mistakes or learn from what I get right. Because this needs to happen in every community in the country, not just mine. Every community in the country needs this. And this is the next chapter for what I'm doing here in Pasadena. And it's not just me. It's everybody in the community that's doing this with me. So I did mean to make that announcement today. So for the person that brought up net neutrality, thank you. Because I would have forgotten otherwise. But that's what's going on. And we're going to do the Gibson story real quick, and then we got to go. And thank you guys for your patience and understanding. This is really lame. Iconic guitar brand Gibson files for bankruptcy. Those who fear the death of rock and roll won't be happy to hear that Gibson Brands Inc., the maker of some of America's most epochal electric and acoustic guitars, has filed for bankruptcy. The Nashville-based company announced Tuesday that it is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and working on refocusing, reorganizing, and restructuring, i.e. trying to find its way out of a pile of debt. And you know what? Here's the lame thing. They are so... Oh, you have a Gretsch. I'm jealous. I am jealous. Oh, I'm jealous you have a Gretsch are so... I can't justify buying a Gretsch guitar because I don't feel like I'm a good enough player. I feel like I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. But anyway, what Gibson does... So, Occupy points out, Gibson took on a lot of debt to expand electronics divisions, so they'll be fine. They'll probably bounce back from this. But they get rid of faulty guitars so quick and so easily, and they just destroy them. Like if something just has one minor thing wrong. And I actually talked about this on my music podcast. I don't know why they don't team up with the guitar organization that Wayne Kramer and Billy Bragg, I think it's called Three Doors Guitars. It's an organization that Wayne Kramer and Billy Bragg oversee. And what they do is they collect guitars and they give them to prisoners to help them rehabilitate themselves. It's an amazing organization. They're doing great work. I don't know why they couldn't team up with Gibson. In any of these guitars that are like somewhat faulty but are still good, Gibson could donate them. And then you know what Gibson could do to make it, you know, not only is it just the right thing to do, and is it a good thing to do, but then Gibson could write off those charitable donations on their taxes. I'm not saying that's why they should do it. I'm just saying if you're filing for bankruptcy, well, here's a tax write-off that could have helped you. And you also could have helped a lot of people instead of just destroying the guitars. You know what I'm saying? To help them use... Oh, come on. That's not right. So, yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know why. And we said it on the podcast. We're like, why don't they team up with Wayne Kramer and Billy Bragg's organization? Get those guitars to prisoners. Help them rehabilitate themselves. You know? And, Oliver, that was a funny joke. I know you're making a joke. It was a funny one. Oliver says, to help them use the wood and strings to make lethal weapons. They were going to make a shovel and dig their way out. It's a joke. He wasn't being serious. Kick out the jams. Hell yeah. So, I'm sorry to hear. I mean, Gibson does make a good product. There's a lot of other great guitar companies out there, too. I think overall, I'm a little more of a Fender guy as far as guitar preference. I love... I want Jagstang to be my next toys. Oh, Gel Guitar Doors. Thank you, James. Correction, the name of that organization is Gel Guitar Doors. So I don't know why Gibson didn't do that. And I get it. It's, you know, it's a corporate company. You know, I understand that. I prefer... Now, Fender's based here in California. Gibson is based in Nashville, Tennessee. I've lived in both places, and I love Nashville. I got nothing but love in my heart for Nashville. And I should have an announcement on Graham and I being in Nashville real soon, by the way. Still trying to lock that in. But I'm assuming, Chris, that means that Epiphone is bankrupt as well. Yeah. And I like Epiphones. I actually prefer Epiphones because they're lighter. You know, it's not quite as high quality of a guitar, but they're lighter and a lot easier to use. So, guys... we are totally out of time. And I love Memphis too, Occupy. I freaking love Memphis. I love Beale Street. I love all the museums. Yeah. I just love places. I really do. So I have a feeling Gibson will bounce back from this. Apparently they overexpanded in their electronics division. But we'll see. I mean... it's a bummer. They make a great product. They make a legendary product, you know, with the Les Paul. But, you know, there's a lot of other great guitar manufacturers out there. And, you know, I can think off the top of my head of at least one thing they could have do that not only would have helped them out monetarily, at least when it comes to the IRS, but also would have been doing a great service for the country and the world, actually, because Billy Bragg's branch is over in the UK, that they didn't do. So, I wish him the best, but, there's a lot of other great guitar companies if they don't rebound. Guys, we are totally out of time. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your love. I appreciate your support. We will be live on Monday, and we're going to talk about Gibson's bad for... I'm not familiar with that, Lyrica. I don't know what that's in reference to specifically. Someone's saying Gibson's bad for the environment. I don't know. I don't know how responsible they are environmentally one way or the other. I'm not hip to that. But I'd be happy to talk about it more, maybe on our music episode. So guys, we're going to be back Monday because we have a weird schedule next week because I'm going to be on tour with Graham Elwood. Where am I going? May 9th, Tempe Improv, Tempe, Arizona. May 10th, Pennington's Pub, Lake Havasu. May 11th, Center for Science and Wonder, Las Vegas, Nevada. May 12th, Comedy Palace, San Diego, California. And if you want to go to those shows, you can get tickets. Go to the Progressive Comedy Tour Facebook page. Thank you very much, Randall. I appreciate that very much. Thank you kindly. Go to the Progressive Comedy Tour Facebook page. You can get tickets for all those shows. And if you want to go for free, please consider becoming a patron of my Patreon. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. I got plenty of LA shows, David. Plenty of LA shows. RonPlacone.com for all my dates. May 31st, that's my next big LA show. That's the next political comedy show at the Sycamore Tavern for Comedy at the Dojo. May 31st is the date on that. And if you want to attend those shows for free, again, Patreon.com/Ron Placone for a pay-what-you-can level, meaning you can give any level you want. Ignore Patreon when they say you don't get all the perks if you don't give a certain level. Everybody gets all the same content. I'll repeat that. Everybody gets all the same content. You get a podcast every week. You get a midweek piece of content every week, and you get free tickets to any of my shows. So we're gonna have a weird schedule again. So we'll be back on Monday, and we'll be talking a little bit of music, huh? You guys want to do that? We'll be talking some news, but we'll also be having a heavy music day because I celebrate Music Monday, and you guys do too. So I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you very much. I love you very much. Peace.